Greetings YouTube and welcome to a Swords and Sandals episode of Consoletronix as I look at the high fantasy hack and slash all action arcade hit and home console classic, Golden Axe. Say what you want about Sega's output today, but back in the 80s and 90s when it came to arcade machines, they stood unrivaled for technical expertise and innovative games, and Golden Axe, their 1989 scrolling beat-em-up, epitomised the heyday of coin-op brawlers. Golden Axe was also the first real killer app for Sega's 16-bit Mega Drive and would introduce to the world the characters that have since become synonymous with this series. Brainless barbarian Axe Battler may have looked the part of Conan with his big sword and ridiculous haircut, but his reach is at times like he has the arms of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh come on, how did I miss him that time? Dwarven Hardman Gilius Thunderhead is actually the best all-round character in the game, but his magic attacks are woefully ineffectual. And lastly, bringing up the rear, is the sexiest Sega girl of them all, Tyrus Flare, who I've never got very far as I keep walking into walls to get a better look at her arse. The Mega Drive port of Golden Axe would also add an extra level and a duel mode on top of the perfect as it was arcade game, and was and is an essential title to add to anyone's Sega collection. There's not really a lot I can say about Golden Axe 2, so to keep your interest levels up I will just pop this into the corner for you. You're welcome. Golden Axe 2 is an original game, not based on any arcade this time around, but sadly all that's changed between this and the first game is the magic has been tinkered with and a few changes to the scenery. The same lineup of characters return, the enemies are even stupider, and the game is in fact much easier than the first. This release was a poor decision on Sega's part and hurt the franchise more than anyone at the time realised. But if Golden Axe 2 was a slap in the face of the fans, then Golden Axe 3 is a kick in the bollocks. Never have I been left so disappointed and disillusioned by a game as I did when I first played this rubbish. Gameplay is a chore, there's no fun involved whatsoever, it's unnecessarily ugly. This is one of the only times you'll ever hear me say this, but this is one game that should have stayed in Japan. With the 16-bit releases going from bad to worse, I think it's time we drop down a division to see how the franchise fared on the 8-bits. This is Axe Battler, Legend of Golden Axe on the Game Gear, where our muscle-bound hero stars in his very own RPG, and while simplistic and more than a little reminiscent of Zelda, it's actually a pretty decent game to sink a few hours into. The Master System may have had a cracking conversion of the first game, but few people know it had a second, Golden Axe Warrior. Now the Game Gear game I mentioned was similar-ish to Zelda. Well, this game is a complete and utter bloody rip-off. I'm not joking, it plays and feels exactly like the first Legend of Zelda on NES. But that said, games like this were a rare sight on the Master System, and it plays really well. Easily the best Golden Axe game since the first, but it stylistically may not sit well with die-hard fans. Dost thou want some? Well, does thou? Yes folks, the aging Golden Axe franchise was given a new lease of life in the mid-90s in the shape of a 2D one-on-one beat-em-up, just as the entire industry was switching to 3D. But if, like me, you can't get enough of these style of games, then Golden Axe The Duel on the Saturn is the game that let you send your opponents to hospital in a horse-drawn ambulance. Nothing special, but lots of fun. The reason why so many great Sega franchises of old have been left in limbo is actually very simple. The names carry no weight whatsoever with anyone under the age of 25. The only solution is to invite new blood to try and bring forth new ideas and focus on new audiences. This was the task handed to US based developers Secret Level Inc. and they cocked it up. While the blame game they've been playing since then has been very entertaining, the casualty in all of this has been the Golden Axe brand, which may never recover. There has been talk of Sega trying to bring Golden Axe or Streets of Rage to the big screen, or at the very least an animated series or two. But for me, Beast Riders was the final nail in the franchise's coffin. However, some solace can be found. Because in 1992, 3 years after the original, Sega would release a second Golden Axe adventure to arcades in Golden Axe The Revenge of Death Adder, which isn't just the best Golden Axe game, but it is one of the best games Sega have ever made. But, and this is Sega we're talking about, there's always a but. And that's the fact that this game never left the arcades, despite having systems starved of games like the Mega CD. So fire up that MAME emulator and try it for yourself. So there you have it folks, my name's Gray, this has been my Golden Axe series review, hope you enjoyed, many more videos up soon, so thank you for watching and I'm out of here. Laters.